these properties is the most sought out real estate probably in the world. And there are many forces around the world that are trying to stop the Jewish people return home. That is the overall story. And therefore, every acquisition, return, that is facilitated by Ateret Kohanim, in this particular case, it's actually the sanctified trust property, not specifically Ateret Kohanim, because Ateret Kohanim is a body involved in the revival of Jewish life. This is true. In this particular case, the property next to the synagogue is the sanctified trust, of course, that was set up 150 odd years ago and has returned now to that particular property. It hasn't been easy when you're dealing with Arabs who are either living, in this case, they were parking on old Yemenite property. It required coordination with the police, who understood exactly. All the paperwork was obviously checked out, and it was backing with the police. There were scores of people involved in the fencing, in the moving of things. It's not so straightforward. It's a complicated, it wasn't a deal, in fact. It was, as you pointed out, it was more of an operation. Many things that we're involved in require looking after the Arab seller, the Arab middleman. Here it was more of an operation, how to deal with Arabs who have just physically thought that they could just park there and just take property when they wanted. But thank God the police have understood, especially since the 7th of October, that those days are gone. There's zero tolerance, and it was a whole operation of coordination between various organizations and the police to ensure that it went smoothly. There's a few Arabs that have really incited to violence. Not all the Arabs there, but there are some clans that are exceptionally violent. Some of them were given were not allowed to come close to the property because they've incited other Arabs to violence. But having proper fencing there that the Sanctified Trust organised meant that it's very much secured. There is Border Patrol police on site, a lot more walking around, and over the next a few weeks or months, depending on funding, hopefully we'll be able to turn it into a proper car park, a place where kids can play. And also we understand from historical information that the original ritual bath was in the corner of the property. So now there's even a talk with the trust to try and find people that maybe want to fund an archaeological dig to find that original ritual bath that the Yemenites used, the mikveh of the property. So it's and then eventually in the next 7-8 years, hopefully there'll be approvals given to build the 20 units. And that's a whole different ballgame. And that for that, obviously, we need bigger ideological investors that are, that will work with Ateret Kohanim and primarily, of course, with the Sanctified Trust, whose property actually it is. And they were the ones primarily responsible for that major operation.